Hey, this is Alex at URock. Today I'm going to be showing you the Sterling by Music Man St. Vincent Signature, the STV 60. Honestly, I've been meaning to do a demo of this guitar for quite a long time. The only problem is I get them in stock and I sell them really before I get around to making the video. So I just got this one in about a week ago. So I wanted to give you guys a demo, and maybe you buy it from me. Maybe you'll get this exact one here. So I'm going to be giving you some up-close looks at this guitar, the individual features. But I just wanted to give you kind of a broad overview. So obviously the thing that people notice first about this guitar is the body shape, right? It is a very unconventional body shape. It's a little futuristic and a little retro at the same time. To me, this is very, like almost mid-century inspired. A little like Bo Diddley, right? Like the box guitars. On first look, you'd think it would be kind of uncomfortable. It looks, it's pointier. But I actually have to say, this is one of the most comfortable guitars I've ever played. It sits against your body really well. It's got a huge cutout right there. Here's the back. It's got a huge belly cutout. And it sits really low on your body, and that is because this guitar was designed for a woman, by a woman. Women have these parts that can get in the way with a regular guitar sometimes. So this one is cut really low to avoid those parts. Also, if you can see, this angle here slopes backwards, and it is a really comfortable place to rest your arm when you play. So all in all, this is actually a very comfortable guitar. So you can see it's got very standard electrical options here. We have 3 mini humbuckers, and then to control those mini humbuckers, we have a 5-way switch. Functions just like a 5-way switch should function on a guitar like this. You get in between and individual pickups. We have a volume, and we've got tone. Very simple, and that's nice. With 3 humbuckers, you wouldn't want to get into controlling each one individually. It would just be way too much, and it would really ruin the aesthetic of this guitar. The setup on this guitar, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I measured it, and it's pretty much exactly how I set up guitars here in the shop. It's low E string is 4/64 away from the 12th. High E string is 3/64 away from the 12th fret. The neck appears to be, well, there's no buzzing. So it's set right. So they, that's kind of their thing. These guitars are made overseas because obviously the Music Man version of this guitar will run you well into the thousands of dollars. This one will run you well into the $600 range. So they're built in, this one's Indonesia. So they're made overseas, they are shipped over, and then they are set up by the technicians at Sterling by Music Man. So, I'm going to grab the camera here, and I'm going to give you some more close-up views of the individual parts of this guitar. And then I'll give you some sounds. You can decide for yourself if this is the guitar for you. So here's our up-close view. It is a very well-finished guitar. No finish problems at all. So if we start up here at the headstock, you will notice it's got the Sterling logo right there, Sterling by Music Man. That's the St. Vincent signature there. The tuners are nice. They have these pearl buttons. Flip them over. They're just tuners. Nothing real crazy. There's our Made in Indonesia stamp. The inlays, it's got these cool interlocking ring inlays. 2 at the 12th. So we'll come up here. There's our 3 humbuckers. So one thing about the so this has got a very standard Sterling bridge on it. 2-post design, if you look here. So the 2-post design is nice because it's better tuning than 6 drilled into the body. All Sterling bridges are 2-post, and they have this handle on the back. So you can play So you can use some tremolo or some whammy even if you don't have the whammy bar installed, which I always thought was a really nice touch. So you can see you can fit your fingers under there. Just do a little bit of that. So let's flip this guy over, or this girl, shall we? And we have the back of the guitar. So there's our neck plate. It's 5 screws instead of 4. Here we'll move back up. So I don't know if you can tell. I think you can feel it a little bit here. So you've got a high gloss back here on the back of the headstock. And then it's a much lower gloss here on the back of the neck, which is really nice. It doesn't get sticky. Sterling necks are my favorite necks on basically everything now. So they are finished. They don't feel unfinished, but they're not going to get sticky when you play. So we move down here, and hopefully you can see that it has a big honkin' plate, or not plate, you know what I mean? The sustain block in the back. It's not one of those cheap thin ones. That one's a nice big thick block in the back there. And there's our control cavity. Maybe I'll open that up, you know, just so we can inspect the wiring and see how clean that is. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to open that up, and then we'll look. All right, and here we have it with the cover taken off. So you can see they use really nice components. That's a really heavy-duty switch right here. We have full-size 250K pots. And honestly, you're going to want to use 250K pots on a mini humbucker guitar. Mini humbuckers are not regular humbuckers where you usually use a 500K pot, because mini humbuckers are very bright. So you want to tame that brightness with a lower value pot. There's our jack right there. That is a nice Switchcraft jack, if you notice, with the nut on the inside, which is really nice. It means that's not going to come loose, and then you end up, you know, spinning it in your hands and breaking all the connections. So the attention to detail, the components they use, they're really nice. It looks well soldered. All our solder joints in here look really shiny. I don't see any burnt wires, nothing like that. So the soldering job looks really good to me. We have one little tiny blemish here that would be hidden by the control panel, which is not that big of a deal to me personally. So that's about the only thing I've noticed thus far. We've got a little bit of this paint that there again is sort of spilled out here, but will be hidden by this plate. So if that's the worst thing about this guitar, for an import guitar, that is pretty good in my book. All right, so as you can see, I'm here at the Sterling wall, I call it. So I'm going to demo you some clean sounds from a Vox AC15, the best-selling tube amp of the last few years. So we've got 3 mini humbuckers, as I said before. So we've got, obviously, bridge, middle, neck. And definitely they all sound different, just like they should. So we have, like our neck position here. Would be a good, you roll the tone off. It's a neck pickup. You could probably use this for faking along with some jazz stuff. Nice, and these are pretty hot pickups. Not the hottest pickups in the world, but pretty hot pickups. Middle. And your bridge. Bridge is always the most different sounding. To be honest, does this guitar need 3 pickups? Personally, I don't think so. The middle and the neck don't sound different enough to me to probably ever use the middle position. We can see here, so we've got our middle and our neck. It's weird. The neck almost seems a little brighter, but that could be because it's not quite as close to the strings. If you don't know this, Pickups and microphones are the same way. They have what we call the proximity effect. The closer to the strings the pickup is, the more bass it will have. So, and just to even out the levels, you've got the neck pickup a little closer, a little farther away, and you've got the middle closer. So you're going to have more bass on that middle. So it's the neck is a little brighter, actually, I think. Middle. So, and we've got the bridge. The bridge it's a bridge pickup. It's twangy, not like a telly, but it's twangy. Positions are the middle positions, but they're not hum canceling. But they're a little less distinct, but maybe a little better for like rhythm guitar. So those are the clean sounds. Overall, good clean. They are mini humbuckery, so they're like humbuckers, but a little brighter. That's the way I like to describe them. They're not as hot. They're not as bassy. In a lot of ways, I really like them. You know, if you can think of the sound from Dear Mr. Fantasy by Traffic. He plays not this, obviously, but he plays a Firebird, a Gibson Firebird, and those have mini humbuckers. Johnny Winter played a Firebird with mini humbuckers. So they're not a super well-known type of pickup. They don't come in a lot of stuff. But having one guitar with mini humbuckers would definitely be a great addition to your arsenal. So now, I'm going to dial in some crunch. So I'm still on the Vox AC15 here. Now we're in the top boost channel with the gain cranked up. So good crunch sounds out of this. Neck. Like I said, honestly, I don't see enough difference between the middle and the neck. But other than that, good sounds. So. Of character. It doesn't sound like your standard run-of-the-mill humbucker equipped, double hum guitar. It's got character. You can definitely coach. Some different sounds out of it. Definitely more of a vintage sounding guitar than some of those like those not the Majesties, the JPs up there. But I am going to plug this into a higher gain amp. We're going to be running into a Blackstar HT5 to give you some high gain sounds. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so we're in on this Blackstar HT5 now. We've got the gain at about 3 o'clock, so a fair amount of gain. Like I said, it's going to sound like a metal guitar. Probably not. There's probably a reason why we don't put mini humbuckers in metal guitars, but, most of that tone is your amp, so. Marty Friedman and Dave Mustaine are much better than me. But anyway, so you can see, it's not that bad of a metal sound. So they are quiet. Your middle positions will give you hum because they're no longer hum canceling. With a lot of gain, these are still very quiet pickups. The highs are, you get more highs out of this than you would get out of a standard humbucker. They don't have quite as much gain as you would get out of a standard humbucker. But here again, this is not a metal player as a guitar. I mean, that's fairly obvious. But I would say this is a good, versatile guitar for just about every style of music. Maybe the exception of metal. So I think around $600 for what you get on this guitar, it really can't be beat. I always like to tell people that this guitar in particular is, it's a signature guitar, but it's different enough. You don't have to know who St. Vincent is at all to appreciate this guitar. It's so different from any other guitar that I have here in the shop that you're not going to buy this guitar because it's the St. Vincent guitar. You're going to buy this guitar because it's a cool as hell guitar. So if you have negative associations with her music, if you don't happen to like her music, I don't think that matters. So like I said, this guitar streets for $600, $599 to be completely honest. So don't let anyone charge you that extra dollar. And available from my website, www.urockmusiccenter.com, or from my Reverb site, which is the easiest way to do it, which is, just search for U Rock Music Center on Reverb. Pick one of these up. They go fast, especially in this blue color. They just put out a black, which is not my cup of tea. It's flat black, like a stealth black. I like this much better. This reminds me of like an old car, and I love that. So thanks, like, subscribe, share, all that nonsense, and keep your eyes and your ears peeled for my next gear demo. Thanks.